with The Real Cinemas Blackpool and Ballincollig and online at therealpicture.com.
In a world where there's a million movie podcasts, here comes another one from themoviebit.com. This is the podcast.
Christ. Who taught you that technique? A friggin' cheese grater?
Anything gets more than 3 blocks out, you turn it back, you turn it to ash. So you listen to me and you listen well.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the podcast from themoviebit.com with thanks to our sponsors, The Real Picture Cinemas, Blackpool and Ballincollig. Check out their extra comfy seating right now, therealpicture.com. My name is Victor Barry, over there is Tom White. We are back for yet again another podcast, back after a fucking bank holiday, yo! Yep. Them dank bank holidays, they make us take time off.
Yeah, oh god damn them.
Yes. Damn them to eternity.
And we have another next month.
Yep, but let's keep what we have going, Tom.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. And to show you... we've got nothing to show you.
No,
thanks. What we do have, though, is Tom's Trivia 3, where we teach you some epically good stuff all about the movies.
Tom's Trivia 3.
Remember The Fugitive?
Yes.
With Harrison Ford. Remember that epic...
I want every dogtown, outhouse, hen house, whorehouse.
All of the houses. Remember the epic escape scene with the train and the bus?
Vaguely. It's been such a long time. I only think I've seen that movie once.
Yeah.
Maybe sporadically twice, like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there if it was on the TV.
And I remember loving the movie, but I haven't gone back and watched it.
Okay.
But that scene always sticks in my mind of him escaping from the bus and the train crashing into it. The remains of direct train and bus from The Fugitive are a tourist attraction in North Carolina.
Really?
Yeah. I looked up a picture of it. They're on the side of a road in the Smoky Mountains. And you can just drive past and there it is. There's the train, just lining the road. There's the bus.
One of the barbecue capitals of the world, North Carolina. Yeah. We won't get into the North-South Carolina barbecue, but holy shit, I never knew that.
We're not opening that to the world. Yeah, and that was, 94? So that was back when you had to do practical effects.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so there you go. John Williams' son, Joseph, is the lead singer of the band Toto.
I'm not a huge Toto fan. Of course, their big song was Africa. Brains on fucking African, the planes and so on.
Yeah.
Wasn't that where the lyrics were, the rain on the plane in the rain in Africa? No, that was the nursery rhyme.
Yeah, that was My Fair Lady, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm ashamed to admit that I didn't know that fact. That John Williams' son is the lead singer in Toto. Yeah.
There you go.
I thought he was called Toto.
And then finally, The Adventures of Tintin was the first non-Pixar movie to win the Golden Globe for Best Animated Feature since the award was founded in 2006.
I love The Adventures of Tintin.
Oh, such a great movie.
It is just amazing. Yeah. It is amazing.
Come on, Peter Jackson, make the sequel.
Yeah, and that was the thing. It was Steven Spielberg, Peter Jackson. They were going to collab. Then they said they'd do it individually. And it is just... It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
If you have, and I don't think a lot of people have seen The Adventures of Tintin. I never liked the cartoon or the books. I really didn't.
I grew up with them actually, both the books and the cartoon.
Really? Yeah. But I was blown away by the movie. It was just incredible.
Yeah, the animation was amazing, and that's, I think the scene everyone talks about is the
chase.
The one shot chase.
Mm-hmm.
Down the viaduct. It's absolutely fantastic. Go watch it if you haven't seen it already.
Yeah, that's your homework for next week. If you've never seen The Adventures of Tintin, 2011, so it's a couple of years old.
Still holds up. I watched it there a month ago.
Absolutely. Anytime it comes on the TV, I would never turn it off.
Yeah.
It is, and just the look.
And the Blu-ray is pristine.
Yeah. I mean, this is reference quality Blu-ray as well. Yeah. It's fucking incredible. And there's an amazing soundtrack.
Yeah.
The score is just
It's Williams
awesome.
again, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And the opening credit sequence where it's It's like the credit sequence for Catch Me If You Can.
Do you remember? Maybe you don't remember, but at the time, there was this guy, this animator, just a fucking animator, like who did shit at home. I think he created a Tintin animated sequence.
Okay.
Inspired from that, or he took his own take on it. And Spielberg saw it on YouTube, and I think he got brought to the premiere and everything.
What?
Yeah, and I think he got a meet. I forget now because it's obviously like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But there was a big kind of thing about that at the time.
That's fair play. Nice guy, Spielberg.
Yep. He subscribes to this podcast. I'd have you know. Every now and again, it's like more Brian Blessed impressions. More Brian Blessed.
Closet Brian Blessed fan, never knew.
Okay. So, like, way later in the podcast, okay, towards the end, which is probably about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
We are going to be talking about the end credit scenes in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So if you've seen this in the text, fear not, we're not going to talk about it now. So if you've read the description of the podcast, don't worry, we're not getting into it now. We will get into it at the very end. We will give you ample notice to fuck off.
Yep.
Or leave, or just stop listening, and then we're going to get into that. But we're going to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, the box office, and we're going to talk about the movie now. So you're safe, okay? And by the way, you can get in touch with us at The Movie Bit on Twitter, The Movie Bit Facebook page, and of course you can email podcast@themoviebit.com. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, by now close to $500 million worldwide.
428 million.
Not completely on par with the original, but not far off it either.
No, not at all. I think it had a bigger domestic opening.
Yeah.
By like a couple of tens of millions. But no, 428 million. Not bad.
Not bad. James Gunn has been hammering on social the last week or so, fucking box office figure. I wonder why he's doing that. Did he do it in the first one?
Not that I remember.
Yeah, I've never really seen him doing the business side of it, bar maybe, thanks for making us $1 billion or whatever.
Yeah.
I just find that peculiar. I think my take on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I think it's very good for a start.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of fucking problems with it. Too much Baby Groot.
Yeah.
Yep. And it doesn't have as much heart as the first one. It seems like they tried to do too much with this. And to be honest, and this isn't a spoiler because if you've watched the trailers, you'll know that Kurt Russell's character is Star-Lord's dad, Chris Pratt's dad, in the movie, obviously.
I wouldn't be surprised with real life as well.
Like, I get the whole comic book thing and the planet and ego and all that.
Yeah.
But I felt it was just a really... it didn't translate well to the big screen. It just seemed... There was so much exposition surrounding it.
Yeah.
It just felt boring.
Yeah, I will admit they did take too much time out to explain the story to you.
You know, yeah. And I don't think it progressed the Guardians franchise. Obviously, the gold people, they're progressing it to Guardians 3.
Yeah.
You know,
more about that later.
But I mean, you can see that from even the trailers that you know that these characters are going to play a bigger role in the Marvel universe as time goes on. But I just felt the whole, hello, Peter. Who the fuck are you? I'm your dad, Peter. I'm Snake Plissken.
That audio was seamlessly put into the podcast.
I felt it was just too much. Okay,
yeah.
So I felt like it's a 2-hour movie. I felt an hour was probably lost to fluffing around with Kurt Russell.
Yeah, like
hats off to Kurt Russell's agent for getting him the fucking gig.
Yeah.
But I felt he added nothing to it. And when I say there's a lack of heart in it, I think actually Kurt Russell sucked the life out of this movie and his character quite a bit, because a lot of the scenes were just meandering fucking bullshit. The finale, which we're not going to spoil, but the finale was visually good, as you would expect. I just felt he just sucked the life out of it. I felt he didn't fit, and he doesn't fit the universe. Now, Michael Douglas, if you look at Hank Pym and you look at Ant-Man, did fit the universe. So it's not like an ageist thing around, all people should stay out of Marvel movies. Look at Stan fucking Lee before you send a fucking email. But I just felt he didn't fit.
Yeah.
And I think that this was fan service to a point to get the character in there. And the Guardians wouldn't have been the most well-known comic book characters in the world, right?
Well, they are now.
Well, they are now.
But yeah, they wouldn't have been.
Back then.
And
so,
Ego actually wasn't part of the Guardians at all.
right.
Yeah. Like, Ego was not Star-Lord's father in the comic books. This has been changed for the movie.
So, I'm not sure why they went down this route.
Yeah.
Maybe they could have went a couple of other routes. Did the original Guardians really push the fact who's your daddy?
It wasn't until the end, really.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, I really need to know who his fucking dad is. You just wanted to see Star-Lord do more cool shit.
Yeah. It was like they referenced it at the start and the end. It bookended the movie.
Yeah.
His daddy.
And I felt that this was kind of, a Man of Steel to a point. So one of my big problems with Man of Steel, Superman wasn't doing enough Superman shit.
Yeah.
The Guardians didn't seem to be doing enough Guardian shit. They seem to be fuckholing around like Lord of the Rings, walking after fucking Kurt Russell.
They did. They did do a lot of Guardian shit, but it wasn't together. It was a lot of them. The Guardians are actually only the Guardians for maybe 40 minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
they're just like separate for a lot. And look, I'll say I loved Kurt Russell in this. I thought he worked off Chris Pratt really well. I will agree that most of his role was this is what's happening. This is why we're doing this.
it was lethargic. He killed the pacing.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily Kurt Russell, but that story arc killed the pacing.
Yeah, like there's when you think about it, there's 4 story arcs going on in here.
There was a lot going on. If you look at the original, and it'll always be compared to the original because it's a fucking sequel. And I'd like to talk about the movie in its own breath, but they kind of lost. The original was lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
And they had that lightning in a bottle to fucking sprinkle around again. And they seem to have dropped the bottle.
Yeah, it's
not hugely.
No, it's still a great movie, but we're going to have to compare it to the original because that's all you can do now with the Marvel movies. They've evolved into their next phase where you have to compare one to the other. Mm-hmm. And
just like the Police Academy series, really.
Yes. Yes, that's the only touchstone for this is the Police Academy movie.
Police Academy 4 for me.
4 was Citizens on Patrol?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with 4 as well.
4 for me. I know if I watch it now I would fucking hate it. But Hightower and a fucking chainsaw?
Yeah.
Yama, 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 yama.
I've never seen Operation Miami, actually. The 5th one.
That's the 7th one or something.
That's everyone else.
Yama, 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 yama.
But I think they had the lightning in the bottle. My major issue with it, and kind of it maybe touches on your whole thing with Baby Groot, is that they took what worked in the first one and then just expanded it. For me, there was way too much Drax. To a point, they stretched.
Drax was fucking the comedic relief.
Yeah, and they stretched that to almost breaking point. Yeah. He has some great lines in there.
He does.
But he also has some duds as well. But
too much of a good thing.
Yeah, that's it.
And maybe that sums up the problems with Guardians. Too much of a good thing. Yeah. They had a good thing, and they just gave people too much of it. Is it going to be a $1 billion movie? Because we're talking about the box office. I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I think it'll come close.
Yeah, like the first one maybe about 700 million.
Yeah, I think it might do that.
It's already like a third of the way there.
Yeah.
So I'd say it'll definitely go over 700. Look, we seem to be shitting on this movie. We really enjoyed it.
You know what, Tom? I'll be fucking honest. I didn't really enjoy it.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Would I be in a rush to see it again? No. I went to a very special screening of it that I can't talk about. So Cameron hasn't seen it.
Okay.
And he fucking loved the first one. Because like the first preview of that, the first kind of teaser of 15 minutes of footage, I hosted that in the IMAX in Dublin for Disney and Marvel, and he loved it and it was amazing. But I'm not in a rush to get into this.
Okay.
Not because of the penis jokes, but
yeah, a lot of fucking cursing in this.
Yeah. I'm not worried about that. It's just I'm being a little bit selfish. I don't think I can endure it again.
Okay.
Maybe that's just me. But there is too much Baby Groot. Too much Baby Groot. The opening sequence, which is played to hell in the trailers, where they're fighting this big fucking Sarlacc climbing out of the hole and Tatooine.
Don't ruin the joke for it.
I'm not going to ruin the joke. But Baby Groot is in that scene constantly.
Yeah.
And the scene is what, we'll say 10 minutes, 12 minutes?
I'd say...
Maybe shorter?
Maybe shorter. Like, the song isn't that long, is it?
Maybe 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Baby Groot's in like 80% of it. He's in it for fucking 60% too much.
Yeah. I loved that opening. I did.
I'm sorry. Baby Groot is Jar Jar fucking Binks.
So fuck.
I like Jar Jar.
Yeah.
But, you know.
We're just angered so many people here.
I'm sorry, he's just fucking annoying. Who gives a shut up, you little fucking sapling?
So if the bass was turned up way up on the voice, you'd be grand with it?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't. It's the whole cutesy thing, which is what they're playing up on hugely, because every time the fucker's on screen, you don't see his branches, all you see is his eyes.
Yeah.
They're playing up on that way too much, which, to be fair, that's like really covering it in sugar to make it really sweet. And none of the Marvel movies have had that kind of sweetness to them.
No, there was moments in this. Baby Groot was involved in all of it. Very saccharine, I will agree with that. But I just enjoyed the fuck out of him. I really did. Like, yeah, he was really cute, and there was the bit where he's sad and everyone's going but I think again we're just going back to the whole too much of a good thing.
Yeah, and that's ultimately the issue with it. And I just wonder, is James Gunn reading, because it's 4-star reviews nearly everywhere.
Yeah,
there's very few 5-star reviews.
There's a 4-star in the movie.
Yeah. And I wonder, is he reading those going, oh, fuck these cunts, and I'm just going to keep pushing figures. You know, is it a psychological thing with him where, you know, and he was signed up to do Guardians 3, which is great, and he knows those characters really well. I would not like to see another director go in there and tackle those characters at this stage.
What I liked about it as well, that it really opened up the universe.
It busted wide open.
Like the wormhole thing, was that part of the first one at all? No. And it's huge, a major part of this.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, let us know what you thought of Guardians Volume 2, podcast@themoviebit.com. But it is doing big business, as we say, nearly $500 million so far.
Can we talk about the biggest surprise in it?
Is that not the spoilers?
No, the biggest acting surprise, Michael Rooker.
Yeah. He's not a surprise that he's a good actor.
Yeah,
he is a fucking good actor.
He's a great actor. We all knew it. I don't think we knew it. I don't think a lot of the mainstream audience knew it. And then he just brings it in this.
Yeah, no, he really does bring it.
Yep.
By the way, we're going to talk about the post-credit scenes. Kind of a bit of a mini spoiler cast at the end of this podcast about Guardians 2. Don't worry, we'll give you plenty of notice so you can stop the podcast. Okay. Here's some really good fucking news. Edge of Tomorrow sequel. We always knew it was going to happen for the last year or so. And more or less everybody is back on board.
Yeah, Doug Liman is back.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt.
And now we've got a name for the Edge of Tomorrow sequel.
Yeah.
And I've got a great idea for Doug Liman in this.
Okay.
Spielberg might pass on the link to the podcast.
Yeah. Before we go into it, what is the problem with this movie and names? Like when it was first in development, it was the original title of the book,
which was
All You Need Is Kill.
Yeah.
Then it became Edge of Tomorrow, and then when it went on to DVD, it seemed to be called Live, Die, Repeat. Like that was the tagline for the movie. But if you look at the DVD box or Blu-ray box, Live, Die, Repeat are there in big letters, and then tiny in the corner is Edge of Tomorrow.
I must check that.
Yeah.
Let's look at wherever it fucking is.
But now the Edge of Tomorrow sequel name has been tentatively revealed. Doug Liman says he wants to call it this: Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat.
I think the studio would probably have a fucking mind saying that. But who gives a fuck about the name? Edge of Tomorrow 2 is probably what most people are going to have 2 tickets for Edge of Tomorrow 2.
That's it, yeah.
Here's my idea for this movie, right? It starts off the exact same. So Emily Blunt is coming back in this movie.
Okay.
There is one opportunity for her character to live, right?
Yep.
And that's not get into the... I don't want to spoil...
Yeah, like, we can't really not spoil it. If we're...
Spoil it, Tom. Fuck it.
I can't remember the ending.
Right. So look, there is one particular spot that Emily Blunt's character dies. Right?
Yeah.
And it's about how far in is it?
It's when they go to the bank, isn't it?
Is it like halfway?
Halfway through.
Around there, okay.
Yeah.
So here's...
Are we talking the farm or talking the city?
the farm.
Okay, so halfway through.
Yeah, halfway. Okay, so here's my take on what they need to do with this to be really fucking clever, okay? The movie starts off the exact same, but he's going back in the cycle again. So he's gone back in time because he forgot his fucking shoes. So,
okay, but maybe workshop that idea a little.
maybe, but it plays out the exact same up until that point.
Up until the farm.
Up until the farm.
Okay.
Right? And then that's when they make a decision that she doesn't die. So they do something.
Yeah.
They make a decision so she doesn't do what she did in the first movie. So she doesn't die.
Okay. And then just...
I have no idea where to go from there, but...
Yeah. So that's the first 20 minutes.
No, that's the first half.
Oh, that's the first... Ooh.
So, but they do it from slightly different... So the movie is shot from a different angle, but it's the whole beach scene, the whole...
But he knows that he's done this all before.
Yeah, so he's going back to save her.
So, that's fucking great. But
So
isn't she saved by the end? But he doesn't know her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or she doesn't know him.
Yeah. So it's kind of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, in a way. So he goes
That's
back.
what the world needs, an action movie, Eternal Sunshine.
So you're watching the same movie
Sorry, spoilers for
different angles.
Yeah.
The exact same beats, the way it plays out for the first half. So the same big epic fight in the fucking beach.
It'll be missing one thing though.
What?
Bill Paxton.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
No, like that you can just recast the character. So the first half of the movie is the first movie again, and then just spin off into something.
Yeah.
That is really clever. That would work really well. Would it go down well with audiences?
I don't know.
Yeah. That's an indie movie.
I don't know. I think it's Doug Liman. If you're fucking listening, I've got that fucking idea. Come see me. I'll be holding court somewhere. Nowhere near you, probably. Unless you send me money for a plane ticket. Hey, I must check. Does Tom Cruise still follow the movie bit? He probably doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or a Tom Cruise boss, maybe.
Right. Here we go. Final piece of news for you this week. This is the official podcast from themoviebit.com because there's so many impersonators out there. We have to call it the official one. Anyway. Young Offenders, one of the best Irish films to be released in quite some time.
Yep.
Really, really fresh, unique, original idea. Around two Cork lads.
Yeah.
It was a movie
That's
that
Cork as fuck.
it was an Irish movie that didn't revolve around the famine or horrors, and was fucking
Or a cop drama. Well,
it was a hugely refreshing change.
yeah, and a lot of it shot near me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The opening is just like 5 minutes down the road for me.
They're getting a TV show. This is something, if you go back through the podcast, here's the fucking thing, because we're on the fucking money, people. If you go back through the podcast and if you listen to the interview with Peter Foote, who's the director and writer of The Young Offenders, did he or not did he tell me exclusively that we're talking about a TV show in the fucking UK? He fucking did. And here it is, Tom.
Yeah, so BBC Comedy and BBC Three, alongside RT, in association with RT, are making a 6-episode mini-series, really?
Yeah.
Of The Young Offenders, and it's gonna...
Same cast.
Peter Foote is back on as writer, director, executive producer. And
he's done a lot of work in TV.
Yeah.
So this is kind of more up his alley in one sense.
He's back home.
Yeah, he's on home turf, yeah.
Yeah, like he did a lot with Republican Telly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're going to be on board, and it's going to follow on from the movie, so the continuing adventures of Connor and Jock. And yeah, like if you've seen Young Offenders, you know how good it was, you know how funny it was, and
it's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, by the way.
Yeah,
so if you have Netflix, you can fucking
It only left the cinemas like a month ago. It opened in September, and there was a lot of cinemas around Cork still holding it.
One of the first Irish movies, homegrown movies, to pull in over €1 million.
Yeah, it was the fastest Irish movie to reach a million in the Irish box office.
You know,
the last one was Michael Collins.
Yeah.
So,
which was more of an American movie than an Irish movie.
Yeah. But yeah, no, fair play to everyone involved.
That's great. And you know what? You will not see a funnier or fresher movie in quite some time. It genuinely is its own fucking beast.
Yeah, and like BBC Three and BBC Comedy have been knocking it out of the park recently with all their homegrown stuff. So yeah, just when the series is going to production in Cork this summer. So probably early next year we'll see it on screen.
Can't fucking wait, bye. And by the way, if you can understand us in the podcast, then you will definitely understand the Young Offenders.
Yeah.
You won't even need subtitles.
Yeah, but the only thing that bums me about this is just another Irish property going to English television.
Tom is not in the IRA, by the way.
No. It's just it's something that kind of bummed me out ever since For Ted went over to BBC. It just RT can't seem to hold on to good comedy ideas.
Maybe you just go where the money is.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Ultimately, it's a business. You go. But here's the thing. I mean, one of the biggest Irish successes is one of the biggest successes in the UK. Brendan O'Carroll, Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Mrs. Brown, yeah.
Which is produced by the BBC, but I think RT fucking supply a few cables or something.
Yeah,
or a camera or something.
They send over a cup of tea every now and
I'm
again.
not sure, but I mean, that's UK.
Yeah. And like,
you look at all the Irish comedians over the years, from Jason Byrne, Ed Byrne,
Dara O'Brien
in particular,
yeah,
who've all gone there. I have zero issue with it. I think it doesn't matter where you are as long as you've got good content.
Yeah.
Donald Skeen, my old buddy, you know, he's gone to the States. He's moved to the States. He might come back and do something on RTE, but he did a ton of stuff in the BBC, like Saturday Kitchen and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He's doing stuff in the States. So
it's a personal thing for me, really. That's it.
You're in the IRA, aren't you?
No, I'm not in the IRA.
Tom hates English people.
No, it's just something like RT kids. Like they've had some good comedy shows like Republic of Telly and Savage Eye and all that.
If you had if you wrote a TV show,
I would go to the UK.
All right.
But that's the thing, like Ireland aren't holding on to them. Yeah, RTE isn't holding on to them.
Yeah, but
if you're not Ross Naroon or Red Rock or The Clinic or whatever, fuck off, basically.
Yeah, and do you know what? A lot of those shows, as good as they are, they're amateur hour and Dixie compared to what, from production values. Don't get me wrong, TV3 have this amazing HD studio kitted out by Sony. RT, fucking amazing gear. It's still, Ireland doesn't get a lot of those things right.
Oh, you know?
And you cannot blame somebody for going somewhere else.
No, I'm not. I'm not at all. I'm not blaming all the lads who've moved over. It's just that I'd love
somebody
to see
somewhere. Why don't you fucking cunts move there? You could still get the podcast.
Yeah, we can do this anywhere, guy. No, it's just I'd like to see a success like Mrs. Brown's Boys or whatever come out of an Irish studio. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, Young Offenders might be your only hope.
Well, that's still. But
it's, I suppose, in one sense, it's
funded by the BBC.
I know, but it's come out of Ireland.
Yeah, that's true.
As close as I can fucking make it happen.
It's staying in Ireland for filming and shit like that.
It's not there putting the Young Offenders in fucking Birmingham or somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
Birmingham.
So yeah, like probably Young Offenders is my best hope for that.
Yeah, but I do understand your point. I don't take it because I'm just a cunt.
Yeah. No, I don't take it because everyone who has...
No, fuck it, I'm going to take it.
Okay, do
No,
it.
I'm not. I don't want to take it back.
Like Graham Linehan, if he didn't go to BBC, we wouldn't get Black Books, the IT Crowd, For the Ted, whatever.
But here's the thing. We would have never got Father Ted here.
No.
We would have never got Father Ted here because Ireland is still a repressed fucking Catholic country. On the outside. At its heart, it's far from it. And I think if you've ever come here, It's far
Except on Good Friday.
Well, except on Good Friday. Now you have to stock up in bags of cans the night before to get a few gats into you, otherwise you'll be on the dry and it'll be a disaster.
You saw that video of the tourists in Temple Bar?
Yeah.
Just walking around and all the pubs are closed.
Here's the thing. You can buy drugs here 365 days of the year.
That's not in the Bible, Vic.
You can buy fucking alcohol 363 days of the year.
Yeah.
And you wonder why people go to fucking England.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake, the Rovers Return used to be open on fucking Christmas Day in the afternoon. That always bewildered me as a child. Hello, Chuck, do you want to come for a pint? Yeah.
Good times. Good times.
And it's an issue. It's a huge issue. Hopefully in the next couple of years that we'll get rid of some of that. Well, I know somebody going, you're on about telling you no oppression, all about the fucking English and all the oppression they gave us. Jesus Christ. We can't live in the past.
No.
We can't live in the fucking past. Let's move on. I'm not saying let bygones be bygones, but, you know. Hey, I remember on the fucking radio show, we did an experiment years ago where we put a guy in an English jersey, an English football jersey.
Oh, God.
And we got him to walk around Cork City Centre.
Oh, Jesus.
Is
he still alive?
Just about. Between 9 and 11, and by the end of it all, the shirt was torn off him. By a select few members of the scumbag fraternity. Yeah. Most people ignored
Pride
it.
of Cork.
Yeah, it's just fucking funny. Somebody said, "Oh, you fucking tuned in for the fucking movies, and you're going on about the fucking English and the fucking politics." That was fucking Brian Gottfried, anyway.
Brian Gottfried.
Or Gilbert Blessed.
Gilbert Blessed. What would that sound like?
I don't even want to fucking try, Tom. All right. Speaking of critically acclaimed screen actors, time to unleash our critically acclaimed screen actor in a movie that he's been a part of yet, and then we will get to those Guardians of the Galaxy 500 million end credit scenes. The end credits are longer than the fucking movie. Anyway.
A critically acclaimed screen actor quotes movies he hasn't started.
I live my life a quarter mile at a time. Nothing else matters. Not the mortgage, not the store, not my team and all their bullshit. For those 10 seconds or less, I'm free. Yeah. I wonder when he dies, will we just have to fucking retire?
Don't say that.
Will we have to retire the critically acclaimed screen actor bit? I've got the brand new feature.
Okay.
Another critically acclaimed screen actor.
Is it Gilbert Gottfried?
Maybe not. Maybe Brian Blessed. I mean, who's going to die first? Brian Blessed, Gilbert Gottfried, or Morgan Freeman?
They all have a target on their back.
Somebody is going, go back talking about fucking English, for fuck's sake. Alrighty, this is the point in the podcast where we say thank you very much for listening. Goodbye. Please hit the subscribe button. If you are still listening right now, that means you have seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. We're going to spend a couple of minutes discussing the post-credit scenes, and we're going to delve into all of those, explain what they mean and all of that jazz. So if you haven't seen the movie, and if you don't want to be spoiled, stop listening now. Right.
Okay.
I'll die at the end. Guardians of the Galaxy, post-credits spoiler. Tom was on about Michael Rooker. What a fucking performance.
Yeah.
Great ending. Very emotional ending. Of course, we have...
Great Mary Poppins joke.
Yeah. We witnessed the passing.
Of Yondu.
Of Yondu. So he's fucked off. So that's one spoiler out of the way.
Yeah. I will say, if you're film savvy, you would have seen it coming from very early on in the Sylvester Stallone scene, where he references the funeral.
I thought that, and then I forgot about it.
Yeah.
Or I went to sleep, one or the other.
It's something that stuck with me. But kind of having that inkling that it was coming, still, it was a gut punch to have it happen. And it's a testament to Michael Rooker that he made me nearly cry. And the end credit sequence is kind of following on from like a really emotional ending, and then the next thing the reference Yondu is in a comedy scene. It's still, but it's still funny, and it's maybe it'll hint that Kraglin who's Yondu's second in command, played by Sean Gunn, James Gunn's brother, who also is the onset reference for Rocket. Maybe it hints that he'll be playing a bigger role in 3.
Does Yondu die in the comics?
No, Yondu actually... Okay, so this is complicated. The Guardians, the original Guardians from 1960, Yondu was a member of the original Guardians. We'll talk about them in a minute. He was a member of the original Guardians, and he was actually from an alternate future, from the 30th century. So he didn't interact with the Rocket and Groot and Star-Lord, the new iteration of the Guardians at all, because he didn't exist in that timeline. So it wasn't until a couple of years ago they brought out Star-Lord comic that redid his comic history to kind of be more in line with the movie, and they brought in Yondu. I think he was a descendant or an ancestor, of the original Yondu. But so yeah, Yondu doesn't die in the comic books. But I think it was just in there because
James Gunn killed him off to give his brother a bigger fucking role. What a dick!
No, I think he killed him off to give the story, give Star-Lord's daddy issues an emotional payoff, because Yondu dies saving Star-Lord from his own father.
Okay, yeah.
So, and the end credit sequence is Kraglin puts on Yondu's fin thing, starts controlling the whistle arrow, and then accidentally stabs Drax. Nice, funny scene.
You know what? It's a bit similar to just the Yondu dying thing. A bit similar to Gamora and Star-Lord when he rescued her when he thought she was dead out in space.
Yeah,
it's a bit samey. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're on about the spoilers. So the Drax one. What was the next one up?
The next one was Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
He played a character called Stacker Orgood, who was a member of the original Guardians, which I just talked about. And he meets up with his old crew, which just so happened to be made up of the original Guardians. So you had Ving Rhames as Charlie 27, Michael Rosenbaum, who you may know if you watch Smallville, he was Lex Luthor. He's Martinax. He was the Crystal guy. Then you have Michelle Yeoh playing Aletta, who is Orgood's wife. And then you have a robot head called Mainframe, who's voiced by Miley Cyrus for some unexplained reason. And then there is a complete CGI character who, did you notice the hand movements he made? Mm-hmm. He is the Sorcerer Supreme from an alternate reality. So it's a nice little Doctor Strange strange reference there. And James Gunn has said that Sylvester Stallone will be playing a bigger part to come in the Marvel universe. So I doubt we're going to see him in Infinity War. I'd say he's going to. I'd say Guardian Galaxy 3. The old Guardians are going to meet up with the new Guardians and all that. Go for a pint. What I'd love, and they're never going to do it, but please do this, Marvel. Your next $100 million, $200 million movie, have the lead characters being Sylvester Stallone, Ving Rhames, and Michelle Yeoh.
Tom Leave.
Oh, I just want to see the balls to do that. So next up was Ayesha, who was the bad guy from the Gold Woman. She is talking to one of her subordinates about destroying the Guardians and going to use a new birthing pod. So the Sovereign, they're completely genetically altered race. They're bred to be perfect. So she's building this new birthing pod to make a new Sovereign more powerful than anyone has ever seen to kill the Guardians, and she's going to call him Adam. Now,
basically, that's Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
That's Guardians of the Galaxy 3. They're bringing in Adam Warlock, who's a major character in the Marvel Universe revolving around Thanos and the Infinity Gems. he actually has the soul gem, is the one gem we haven't seen in the MCU, which helps him kind of talk to the dead. So yeah, are we going to see Adam Warlock in Infinity War, or are they going to keep that for Guardians 3?
Give it for 3.
Give it 3, and that's what that scene was. It was setting up 3. So Yesha is going to have a bigger role, kind of maybe she'll be the big bad, and Warlock turns against her, or she's killed off, and then you had Teenage Groot, kind of a bit.
Teenage Groot should have been at the first post-credit scene, and then there was too many post-credit scenes.
Yeah,
the final one with fucking Stan Lee.
That wasn't needed.
Wasn't needed at all.
No.
Who are the fucking, what are they, the Utahs?
The Watchers.
The Watchers.
Yeah. It basically, it calls back to a scene in the middle of the film where Stan Lee in a spacesuit is talking to the Watchers, these huge guys with bald heads. In the comics, they watch. Basically, they write down the history of the universe. And there was a fan theory that Stan Lee was a Watcher. That's why he turns up in all of the films.
Really good fucking theory, but
yeah, and it turned out to be kind of true. He's like a messenger for the Watchers, and he's just explaining. You see him explaining his adventures to them.
Yeah, you know what? Too much fan service. Too much fucking fan service. Too many fucking post-credit scenes.
Yeah.
2 used to be the magic number. How they got away with all of this, I don't know. Are they all worth staying for? No is the answer.
No, the Yesha one and the Sly one.
Yeah, and that's
they're the essential ones, and the rest are funny. But
that's it.
Yeah,
that's it. And that is it from us, people. Thank you so much. Podcast at themoviebit.com. His name is Tom White. My name is Victor Barry. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe on iTunes. We would love it if you would. You get all the new episodes and our back content of over 300 epic movie episodes and interviews, all for free. We will chat to you the next time. Goodbye, everybody.
See ya.
The moviebit.com podcasts. Available on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, direct download, and streaming on themoviebit.com. Streaming and creaming. Yeah.